We are live. What is going on, everyone? Thank you all so much for tuning in at this time. Everybody that's here, I greatly appreciate it. Anybody watching this on the replay, thank you so much. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Got the two-day draft finished, finalized. Lakers, day one. Got Knecht. They got Dalton Knecht, which I'm really hyped on. He was by every consensus the top 10 pick in this year's draft. So to get somebody like that to fall all the way to number 17 is huge in and of itself. Then you add day two, and the Lakers got exactly who they wanted, right? Bronny James, the guy that I think all of us expected the Lakers to end up getting. I like the pick. I like it even more that the Lakers didn't have to do, no one kind of got in the Lakers business, right? Because I even said yesterday, right? Like, if I was one of these teams, I would be like, hey, how badly do you want Bronny, right? And I know that there was the talks, Rich Paul calling teams saying, like, hey, if you draft him, he's going to Australia or whatever. Call his bluff, right? Like, hey, we got the 50th pick in the draft, right? We're probably not going to draft anybody anyway, so might as well go and take a gamble. So point is I'm glad that people stayed away, right? I'm glad that no one got in the business. Lakers were able to get Bronny James. I know people are like, it's a waste of pick, this, that, and the other. Who would they have gotten that's better than Bronny at 55, especially when there was only 58 people drafted? It's not like this. He was drafted 30th, or 17th or something like that. So, I really do like the draft. I thought they did a good job with this year's draft. I know a lot of people really wanted a center, but I'll probably explore this a little more in a video. But you got Colin Castleton, right? At some point, you got to play him, right? At some point, it's like you got to make the decision to use him as a backup or your primary center or whatever, right? At some point, something's got to give in that regard. So it's like, do you really want another development big, especially if like Jackson Hayes is coming in? Hey, I don't mind the Bronny pick, right? I think it worked out. I think it was fine. I think the Lakers are in good shape, but I don't know. Let's get right into the chat here. See everyone trickling in, and I know more and more people will start trickling in, especially if you hit that like button for me. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed, and let's get into it. Let's just dive right into it. So what's going on? Appreciate you being here. Kevin, I personally think we had a good draft class, and I hope both will be able to help us, this Lakers team, out. I wish them nothing but the best. Yeah, that's how you got to look at it, right? Draft picks are always a gamble regardless. No matter what, you're always gambling when you're taking picks. I think the Lakers got the safe pick, right? You got Knecht. You got the safe pick right out the gate. And then now you're taking Bronny, who is the gamble, the upside. People also forget that before the medical issues, right? He was a top five, or he was not top five. He was a five-star prospect. Five-star prospect, and he was ranked 20th in his draft class, right? So it wasn't, so by like that standard, he's a top 20 player. He should have went top 20. But given the circumstances and everything that happened and him, having that medical condition, that heart condition, for him to even play that quick of a turnaround is impressive and just shows the dedication to the game, right? So I'm excited for it. Yo, what's going on, Daniel? Appreciate you being here. You're cute. Well, thank you. CP 512, what's going on? Appreciate you being here. Thank you for popping in. Thank you. Would have been bad business. I'm happy we got Bronny too. I'm right there with you. I like the Dalton Knecht pick. The Bronny James, that's a prospect that we have allow a lot of time and really be ready. Yeah, look, you got the guy again. You got the guy now. Anybody you draft at 55 is 99.99% going to be a development guy that you're building through the G League, right? You can count on one hand the type of immediate impact guys that have been taken in the second round. I'm not even talking about I'm not even talking about 55th pick. I'm talking about in the second round, right? Like, it's just any of those guys you're getting are probably going to take some time. I mean, even Austin Reeves took a little while, right? Like, so to me, it's like not everybody has to be a superstar. You know, like everyone wants the picks. Oh, like if this guy isn't a superstar, then why are you drafting him? Like, because where are you drafting him? And you also need those other guys, right? Like, no one can have a team, especially in the new CBA, no one can have a team that's all superstars, right? So to me, if Bronny doesn't have to be a superstar, if he can be a George Hill and Avery Bradley type, that's money to me, right? That's beautiful. Legit 3-and-D athletic guard. Like, let's go. Can run, get out in transition, initiate the offense, defend the best opposing guard. Like, I'm fine with that, right? Like, if he can do the dirty work, hustle, dive for loose balls, be a grinder, I'm okay with that. Best case scenario, he turns into like a Derek White or something, absolute like crazy scenario, he turns into a real star, right? So again, there's a lot of different possibilities that he could become, right? There's also the possibility he doesn't work out. He's a bust. And in 3 years after LeBron leaves, they let him go. But give the guy a chance. Give the guy a shot. I love the Lakers picks. And I hope Bronny proves the naysayers wrong. Yeah, I think he will. I think he'll be fine. Again, people are acting like he was just this terrible bum. Like the only reason he got drafted was solely because of Bronny. Like, he was a big prospect coming up, right? Like, he was ranked 20th in his class and a 5-star prospect going into USC, right? They didn't do that because he's Bron's son. They didn't even do that for Jordan's kids, right? So again, like, it's silly. And look, like, I don't want to hear nothing when Giannis's brothers have been basically on the Bucks for 6 years and have done nothing. Like, there's literally like memes about it, right? Like, at least Bronny, like, give him a shot. Let's see what he can do. I think the only person that was brought up that would have been a legit better option over Bronny is Caleb Love. I believe he'll be a lottery pick next year, but all in all, we did pretty good. Yeah. Again, never know what there's going to be last. Unpopular opinion, Bronny gives us what Gabe Vincent did last year. I mean, it's very possible, right? I mean, he already is said to have, and looks like he has, the NBA ready defense, right? So, I mean, if he could just be a point of attack guy and knock down the occasional three, that's all you really need, right? I wish Bronny was taller. Of course, my idea, prototype guard is somewhere between 6'3" to 6'7". However, smaller players can be great too. Just how bad do they want it? Yeah. I mean, he's got great athleticism. He's got good speed, right? He's strong. He's got that. He's got that. He's already getting that dad body, or his dad's body, right? Again, even as long as if he just becomes a rotation piece, I'm all for it. Right? He doesn't have to necessarily be a superstar. If he could just be a guy that comes off the bench and be one of your 8 best guys, that's great. Again, not everyone has to be a superstar. Get okay, Lakers. Do you think we are going to make any trades this offseason? I do think we make some trades. I don't know if it's going to be this huge like splash trade, right? Because it's kind of been a weird offseason so far. It really is going to boil down to D'Lo, right? Depending on if D'Lo opts in, gives the Lakers so many more options, so much more flexibility, and puts them in a position to where they may be able to pull off a bigger trade. But if D'Lo ends up leaving, well, then now you're probably relegated to just little like minor moves. But I think that they'll do something. They have to do something, right? I think Rob knows that they have to do something. There's already reports that LeBron and AD want the Lakers to go all in, right? But deals also have to be there. Can't just trade as much as we all want to trade. But I do. I want to keep Taurean Prince. I wouldn't mind keeping Taurean Prince. It kind of feels like Knecht is probably his replacement, but I would be all for that. If anybody can coax some more fire, I've needed out of Bronny. 100% is that. Yeah, I mean, that was my big thing, right? Like that's the thing that I kept trying to hit on. No one is going to work harder to make LeBron or make Bronny a thing than his dad. His best chance to actually become a real player in this league is his dad, right? That's why I thought, like, if he goes anywhere else, he might be screwed. But the fact that he gets to come now and basically glue himself to his father for 2-3 years is massive, massive, right? Because again, like anywhere he goes, he's going to get trainers and he's going to get all that stuff. But what's the incentive? Obviously, is just to make them the best player possible. But there's not that there's not the incentive to work harder for him than another prospect or another play you have, right? You're trying to all the guys that are in your development program, you're all trying to develop all of them, right? And they're all kind of going through the same regimes, right? But Bronny is going to go through that same stuff with the Lakers, and then he's going to have his dad that's going to be like, okay, now we're going to go do this, right? And it's one thing to be able to do it sparingly, right? Like it's like, oh, okay, sorry, son. Now dad's got to go to work for 16 hours. So it's one thing. Sorry, I keep hitting that thing. It's one thing if that happens. It's another thing when you guys are in the same facility, you have all the same equipment, same gym, same court, the same trainers, the same dietitians, the same everything. And now, like, LeBron's only job is to make Bronny the best player possible. Big difference. Bridges isn't going to affect the market. There was already trades today that showed Bridges didn't affect the market. The Bridges trade was Rudy Gobert all over again. Everyone thought Rudy Gobert's trade was going to change the landscape of trades, and it didn't. Everyone just kind of was like, they got fleeced. Do you think Eric Gordon would be a good fit for the Lakers? No, personally. If the Lakers were to sign him for a vet minimum, I wouldn't hate it. Like, is he a good fit? Yes. His ability to shoot and play off ball. The reason I'd say no is because we already have so much of a logjam, and we already kind of, like, you have Reeves, you have Knecht. I'd rather give Knecht the minutes that you're going to give Eric Gordon, right? So, personally, I'd rather not go get Eric Gordon. You know, again, if the Lakers were to sign him, I wouldn't hate it on a vet minimum, but I would rather just kind of go with the guys you have, right? I'd also rather bring in Taurean Prince. Taurean Prince gives you the same thing. He's just bigger, right? So is more versatile. So I'd rather do that. But Eric Gordon 10 years ago, yes. I would have taken Aaron Gordon, or why do I keep saying Aaron Gordon? Eric Gordon. I would have taken Eric Gordon more last year. Last year, I thought he was more needed. Are the Lakers still trying to get a third star, or are they taking it from a different path? I mean, it really boils down to D'Lo. Right? Look, if a third star is there and the Lakers can get him, they'll get him. Right? If it's realistic. Right? We'll see. Whether that's DeJounte Murray or Trae Young. I still think Trae is probably the most likely splash if you're going to make one. But if the Lakers can get it, they will. It's the Lakers. More likely than not, though, it'll probably be a minor trade or two. We still have Jalen Hood-Schifino, Maxwell Lewis, still young prospects. Yeah. Look, the Lakers have several guys already, right? The whole balance that the Lakers want to do is have a balance of like win now and then that next wave that can come in. And now the Lakers are starting to put those pieces together. You got a guy in Knecht that adds to the win now, and he's also young enough for the future, but he's more looked at as like, you know, he's closer to his ceiling than he is to his floor, right? So it's kind of like, okay, here's the guy that we can grow, develop, but he also helps out. And then you got Maxwell Lewis, Jalen Hood-Schifino, Colin Caston, the other guys that they just picked up on the two ways, whatever other free agents, undrafted free agents they decide to end up bringing in. They got a couple Exhibit 10 guys that I got to dive into and break down. But like the point is that you got all these pieces that, are the foundation for that next wave. Like the Lakers want to, okay, here's the first wave, they age out or whatever, or go other ways, or, end up being too costly. And then here's the next wave that come in. Kind of like the college system where, every year, every couple of years, guys are cycling back in and forth. So you just are developing these guys and they're in this pool, and then these guys fade out and then boom, they're in, and you just stay competitive that way. How can the Lakers get better from here? Well, I mean, there's a couple options, right? One is the big trade route, right? You go get DeJounte Murray or even a Trae Young, even though I know people aren't super massive or super high on Trae. I don't mind it. You know, I have my reservations and my concerns, but all in all, I think he'd be a welcome addition. But you go make the big splash. There's the big splash trade that just raises your ceiling and helps you for the future. Then there's the just kind of like go get like Dorian or Cam Johnson or Dorian Finney-Smith and go get, 2 or 3 kind of higher end rotation guys, starting level guys that can make you better. The third option is, can you find those gems, those Malik Monk type deals in free agency, right? Can you get a Valanciunas, right, and get that big sender? Take a flyer on like a Kevin Porter Jr., right? He needs to kind of raise his stock. He needs to kind of raise his value. You'll see a couple guys like James Wiseman, maybe. You bring him in on a vet minimum as like third big, and maybe he make a little impact, right? Try to find those gems they can get for value and use and they want to use the Lakers brand to kind of boost their stock. That's something that I think those are kind of the best. Those are the options and alternatives. I think the Lakers, if I had to get, the Lakers will go the trade route first. And maybe it'll also be like a mixture. Maybe it'll be a little bit of, maybe they get, a Cam Johnson, or let's say maybe they get DeJounte Murray, right? Maybe they trade for DeJounte Murray and then they sign, a couple guys, right? That could be the possibility. Probably not. Probably not. Let's see. Bronny would have started if it wasn't for the heart condition. So clearly you don't know what you're talking about. We need to get Andre Ayton now, or DeAndre Ayton now. I definitely I have a list of like videos that I need to make because there's been a lot of like new information that's came out. I have him on the list, and I'll do like a deep dive into it more and kind of give more in-depth take on it. I personally think the Lakers should stay away from Ayton. I like if the Lakers traded for him, sure, right? He's a legit or can be a legit 2010 center. It's just he can't get out of his own way. The guy he thinks he is prime Shaq or prime Akeem and wants to be the guy and doesn't play well with others and has been a big locker room problem, right? Ayton was supposed to be the future for the Portland Trailblazers. They went and traded him to be the future for the Portland Trailblazers. And then Portland just decided, we'd rather go draft Clegan. Like, it tells you a lot you need to know about Ayton. The Phoenix Suns traded Ayton for Nurk. Like, again, kind of tells you what you need from him. But look, he is a guy, though, I will say, if he can get out of his own way and get his mental right, he's a guy that I do think would be great. Like, I think he would be great if he could, again, just get out of his own way. I just don't think he will. Christian, coming out the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the super chat. Decent draft. Was likened, rated about the Bronny pick. I get why they did it, but wanted Lakers to try to flip the center would have been nice with AD. Yeah, well, I mean, now there's all that news coming out about Flip from his family. So I don't know how much that's going to be a distraction. I don't know how much of a nightmare that may potentially become. I like Flip. Look, I'm a Duke guy. I said it before. I grew up watching Duke. I loved Duke growing up. I've always rooted for Duke. I really liked Flip. I really thought he was great. But I would have been fine. Like if the Lakers would have traded up to go get him, sure. But to me, this signals, and this, I don't know, this is just my thoughts. This signals to me the Lakers believe in Castleton, right? Which at some point, you got, like, the dude's going to be 25 in what, October? Right? So, like, when the season starts, it's going to be 25. At some point, you have to play him. I like Castleton a lot. I think he has a ton of potential, right? But at some point, you got to sink or swim here, dude, right? At some point, the Lakers got to make that leap and take that step for him, right? So to me, I think that the Lakers this signals that the Lakers are going to lean into him. And like, hey, we want to see, apparently he's improved his 3-point shooting. He's improved his just skill, all around skill. He's ready to go for Summer League, right? He's supposedly ready to light up Summer League and show everybody that he's the real deal. Cool. Let's get it. Let's go. Right. And if he is, then bring him on the team. Right. I still would like a Valanciunas or something like that, but get him on the team. And then he's basically our third center. And then when LeBron misses a game, now he can be the immediate backup. Or if Anthony Davis misses a game, he can be the immediate backup. He'll probably play, 60 games or whatever, and probably average like 15 minutes a game, something like that over the course of the year. Right. So I think to me, this signals that they believe in Colin Castleton. And so I think that they're banking on that. Right? Because a development big, you can get a development big whenever, right? I mean, Jackson Hayes may stick around, and then you have Castleton and Jackson Hayes as your development bigs, right? So I don't think the development big is important right now. We need a big. That doesn't mean we don't need a center, but we don't need a development center. Like I saw a lot of people that were like, oh, we should have drafted a big man over Bronny. It's like, who? Like, what big man was there that's available that made more sense? A lot of them were undersized and not real big men. And you have Castleton and potentially Jackson Hayes, right? I'd rather you go get a real big man. Go get a Valanciunas. Go get an Andre Drummond, right? Something along those lines. But again, Christian, appreciate you. Thank you for super chat. Let's see. Bron for 2 or 3 more seasons. Yeah, most likely. I think he at least signs he'll probably do that 3-year, what is it? 3-year, $160 million or something like that. Should the Lakers sign Jamarian Sharp? I mean, I don't mind it. Like, if they want to bring him in on Exhibit 10s, like I said, I know that there were a couple of Exhibit 10s that the Lakers just recently signed. I haven't looked at them all yet. I got to do that. I was going to make that video for the morning covering the Exhibit 10, so look forward to that video. But, yeah, I mean, if he's still available, a lot of teams are signing guys right now still. So I think Dalton is the replacement for Taurean Prince if Taurean Prince doesn't come back. I definitely think he could be. I mean, he might be the replacement for Taurean Prince regardless. I also think he gives you Reeves insurance if you need to trade Austin Reeves. Again, I'm not saying that they should absolutely trade Reeves, but the word is if the Lakers trade Austin Reeves, DeJounte Murray is theirs, right? Like, they could have DeJounte Murray right now if they trade Austin Reeves. Like, to me, it's kind of like, okay, if you get DeJounte Murray, go get DeJounte Murray, right? I like Reeves. He's fine. He's not DeJounte. DeJounte Murray is a better basketball player. Who wins the trades? The guy that gets the best, the team that gets the better basketball player. Give me DeJounte Murray, right? And then figure out the rest. And if you get DeJounte Murray, you give up Reeves, you could probably keep picks and stuff, or kind of negotiate to where you keep some other assets to then go flip. If D'Lo opts in or something, maybe you go turn him into a Cam Johnson or something. Now you get Cam Johnson and DeJounte Murray. Let's go. That's money. And you have Knecht as like the replacement. Again, might be a little bit of a pipe dream, but it might not, right? If the Lakers are willing to give up what is necessary. I don't want D'Angelo Russell. I really don't want Gabe Vincent. Bronny's not ready to be the lead point guard, so my question I pose is who's going to run the point guard spot accurately? Which is that's the $1 million question, right? Because if D'Lo leaves and now you basically are looking at Gabe Vincent, even if you move Gabe Vincent up to the starting point guard spot, you still need a backup, right? I mean, Jalen Hood-Schifino, is he ready? You finally going to give him an opportunity? I mean, he was lighting it up in the G League, but even if he is great, right? Let's say Jalen Hood-Schifino is like really good and he is able to fill that role. I'd still kind of like a veteran guy, right? Because we're a team that's trying to win now. If we were, trying to just make the playoffs or something, then sure, run them. But trying to win immediately, and I worry about the playoff pressure and then trusting a rookie off the bench to, even if he is really good. But there's options, right? Like Chris Paul, sign him to a vet minimum, have him be your backup if you needed to. But that is definitely a concern, definitely a question. Rob, stay away from Eric Gordon. I don't think they'll go after Eric Gordon. Yeah, Dalton is a huge deal. I really like Dalton a lot. Let's see. What just happened? What the? Whoa, that was weird. Hang on a second. All right. What? There we go. All right, we back. Good. Sorry, I have no idea what just happened. Everything just went black and cut off. There we go. I just got taken out. I just got boom. Just see, bro, just got attacked by the Undertaker. Yeah, apparently. I'm over here giving trade secrets, and they just like snatched me up. Yeah, that was really odd. I don't know. I was just talking, and then everything just went away. Like everything just went black. Like my whole computer just like went black. I mean, my computer stayed on. It just was like StreamYard. StreamYard is tripping. StreamYard is tripping. But anyway, we're back in business. At this point, just a team, LeBron's company. He got everything he wanted anyways. Lakers a clown show. Again, this is what the Lakers have always done, right? Like, how did the Lakers get LeBron? By doing similar things for Kobe. Kobe was a shell of himself, and the Lakers gave him a max. Like, everybody was like, that's terrible. Why? Why did you do that? Because it's Kobe Bryant and everything that he did for that organization, and it shows other stars, hey, you come here and you win and you build your foundation here, we will take care of you. And guess what? 2 years after Kobe retired, LeBron came, and then Anthony Davis, and then we won an NBA championship. LeBron's leaving in a couple years. This shows, again, we take care of you. We do and look out for you. Why? So that way when LeBron leaves, the next superstar goes, I want to go there. All right? Again, there's a reason to. Giannis's brothers, Giannis has had his entire family basically under Milwaukee's payroll for the last 6 years, right? Why? Because it's what you do, right? And again, Bronny was a five-star prospect, and ranked 20th in his draft class before the cardiac arrest. If he doesn't get hurt, or not hurt, but if he doesn't have the health condition, he might have been a top 20 pick, especially in this draft. It's the 55th pick. Who are you getting that's better? Anybody that you draft who are you getting that's better? I have yet to hear one good argument for why the Lakers shouldn't have drafted Bronny. Everyone that's like, oh, the Lakers messed up. It's like, why? Oh, they should have taken anyone else. Really, anyone else? So you'd rather take a worse player just to say, oh, we didn't take Bronny, right? Or people are like, oh, this is all for LeBron. Well, yeah, he's your superstar. And Anthony Davis publicly, or not publicly, but told reporters that he wanted Bronny. And he even posted something talking about how he wanted Bronny, right? Like, so even Anthony Davis wanted. So how do we know he did it for LeBron? Maybe he did it for Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is pushing for it, right? Again, that's what you do as an organization. Like, it's so silly. I have yet to hear one person give me a real argument as to why we shouldn't have drafted Bronny James. You know why? Because there isn't one. He's no better than anyone else that would have been drafted at 55. Nobody, right? Could somebody eventually be better? Sure. But right now, in the moment, in real time, there wasn't a single player available that was better. Bronny was almost the last pick in the draft. There's 3 other players taken after him. Right? It wasn't like the Lakers if they would have taken him with 17, now we have a problem, right? Now I would have lost my mind. Right? But again, it's just so silly. It really is. It's literally people that either hate LeBron or want LeBron to leave. Right? Like, again, like, what if he's great? What are all these people going to say? Right? Like, all these people are going to be rooting for Bronny because Bronny's good. Like, it's just so silly. Let's wait and see. Maybe he's trash. I don't know. I don't know. You know why? Because he hasn't played a game. right? Give the kid a minute, right? If he was anybody else, everybody would have been like, man, here we go, steal of the draft, right? Like, but because it's Bronny, everybody's like, he's trash, he's garbage. Lakers wasted the pick. If it was anybody else but Bronny, everyone would have been talking, everyone would be seen in a different tune, right? Like, it's silly to me. Stay consistent. Trade Reeves, keep Dalton, or trade both. I'd want to keep one of them. If he performs in the summer, a lottery pick talent. I mean, you also have to find but the problem is the value, right? He's making what, like $2 million, something like that. The young core is nice. They need to make them good enough to where they can actually trade them. Development will be key process for us. Well, I mean, at some point, the Lakers are going to have to, just with the new CBA, they're going to actually have to start developing guys, right? At some point, the Lakers are going to have to start putting together a program here to really get pieces together. I don't think the Hawks will move DeJounte, unfortunately. I don't know. I think that they tear it all down. I think they trade Trey. I think they trade DeJounte. I mean, if the deals are right, I don't think they'll just get rid of them just to get rid of them. But I think that they'll more likely than not trade both if they can. I still think Trey is probably most likely for the Lakers. Like I said, could be wrong. But I think if the Lakers are really going to go get another star, it's probably him. I like Levine, but really need to Caruso with him to make it worth it. Agreed. I'm right there with you. Is D'Lo's player option deadline tomorrow at midnight EST, or is it specific time on June 29th? I believe it's like 12 noon. I don't think it's at midnight. I think it's like midday. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's like 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern is usually how those go. I mean, we could get the announcement at any day, any moment, right? He might not wait till the last minute, but we'll see. Don't trade Vanderbilt. I don't want them to trade Vanderbilt either. I mean, obviously it depends on what the deal is, but preferably I'd like to keep him. I like trade for Kessler. I wouldn't mind trading Kessler. Just what does it cost is the big thing. What is the cost? Let's see. If the Lakers sign KPJ, the season is already over. In like a good way or a bad way? You don't like Kevin Porter Jr.? Talk about a 19-point-a-game guy that come off the bench that's still incredibly young. He could be our Malik Monk. Do you think we can get Murray with only 2 first-round picks? I feel like Hawks might also want Knecht, just like how they want Reeves. I'm sure that the Lakers. I mean, it always boils down to like, what are the other offers? What's the deal? Like, what's the competition look like? What are they offering? What are they willing to give up? Right? Because if the Lakers are the only ones like with a major deal, then you're betting against themselves. But if there's several teams that kind of throw their hat in the ring, Lakers are probably not getting him regardless. But I do think you're probably looking at like 2 firsts and a pick swap. It's probably what it'll take. Probably. I don't think Knecht will be the difference. Like, I don't think that they're going to, because if Austin Reeves isn't the difference, right, if they ultimately trade him and the Lakers don't give up Austin Reeves, then Knecht's not going to be the difference, right? Especially Atlanta, they're trying to just rebuild and go young. And the good thing about Knecht is he's 23, right? If he was like 19, maybe they'd kind of push hard. But they might look at it as like he's 23, probably going to take us 3 or 4 years to kind of get to where we want to go anyway. And at that point, he's like, now he's 27. So more likely than not, it'll be first and pick swaps. It'll probably be like, 2 firsts and a pick swap, or, maybe 2 firsts and 2 pick swaps, or maybe a couple seconds. My hope is that the Lakers maybe take on, there's talks about the Lakers really want Clint Capella, and they may be willing to kind of, like, if you can they want to basically kind of see if they can angle Clint Capella to get a cheaper deal for DeJounte, right? Where it's like, okay, we get Capella and we get DeJounte, and we don't have to sell the farm. Like, we'll take Capella's money off your books too, like type thing. Young over Klay Thompson. Lakers cannot compete with the Knicks or Celtics at all. Not the way they are currently constructed. That's for sure. You talk about a Malik Monk type signing. Does someone like James Wiseman fit the bill? Yeah, again, like guys like that, like guys that need to prove something. I like Wiseman. So if Jackson Hayes leaves, right? Let's say Jackson Hayes goes elsewhere. I still want like a Valanciunas or something like that. But I would, if I was the Lakers, bringing in James Wiseman. I think Wiseman just kind of got the bad end of the stick. Try to keep PC here, right? Like, I think, or PG, not PC, PG, right? I think Wiseman went to probably the worst fit he could have went to, and kind of did him no favors. I think that you look at him getting traded to Detroit, again, probably the worst place he could have gone, given that Detroit had like 5 centers, and then Jalen Duren basically became a walking double-double. So I just think that I think a lot of it is just circumstance, right? So to me, it's like, if you can get him, he showed signs, he showed flashes, especially in Detroit. He had a couple like really good games where you're like, okay, there it is. So can you kind of hone that, right? He's still very young. So yeah, absolutely. How about Lauri? They already have a first from Russ. Take protection off, offering to unprotected for Lauri. They want like 4 firsts for Lauri Markkanen and all kinds of other stuff. So I don't know about that, if I'm being honest. I love Markkanen. I just think he's I don't even know if the Lakers have enough to get what they want from him or for him. I will take Robert Williams. I wouldn't mind Robert Williams. Problem is he's injured like constantly. Like that guy might be the most injured center in the league, right? Like Time Lord, bring me Time Lord. Give me Time Lord. Let's get it. But it really comes down to the cost. Like I would have to get him for like, if you can get him for like a second or like 2 seconds, sure. But if you have to trade like a bunch of stuff for him, no, stay away from him. Let's see. Lakers will sign a vet center. I think they will. I think they'll end up with somebody too. They're targeting Valanciunas, which I think is the right way to go. But if Castleton could become a poor man's Brook Lopez, I'll take it. Exactly, right? Like again, if he could just be a real backup center, like that's fine, right? I can't wait to see our guys in Summer League either. Like I'm anxious for Summer League. Like we're what 3 weeks away from Summer League, something like that. When Summer League, we're only like a week and a half away from California Classic. But I'm talking about here in Vegas, we're like 2-3 weeks away, something like that. I think it's like the 12th through the 19th. Love all the young undrafted guys signed. Yeah, like I said, I haven't looked at the Exhibit 10 guys that they signed yet. But I do like their 2 undrafted guys. Talked about that in a video. Imagine OKC with Shea, Dort, J-Dub, AD, and Chet. That would be insane. I like to know your thoughts on the guard rotation and what you would like to do now that we have Bronny. What do you think? Currently, we have D'Lo, Austin Reeves, Dinwiddie, Gabe, Jalen Hood-Schifino, Bronny, and Prince. So, a couple things. I think one, D'Lo is gone no matter what. If D'Lo opts in, I think Lakers trade him. If D'Lo opts out, well, then he's gone. Austin Reeves, I don't want him to play the point guard. Keep him at 2. So then at that, Bronny is probably developing in the G League. I'm sure he'll get some moments, right? Especially early on in the season, right? When you're kind of like working on stuff. They'll probably have the Bronny LeBron moment. I don't think Bronny plays much this season. I think that they develop him unless he really is just like great, or they end up trading a bunch of guys. Prince, I think they basically just replaced him with Knecht. And And then Jalen Hood-Schifino, I think he gets traded more likely than not to clear up the logjam. But let's say D'Lo and Prince are the only guys that leave. At that point, assuming the Lakers don't get any other center or any other point guards, I would move Dinwiddie to your point. Dinwiddie gives you a lot of the same stuff as D'Lo, actually, if you let him play point guard. So I'd probably move Dinwiddie, have Dinwiddie at the 1, Reeves at the 2, all right? And then you'd have Gabe at the point, and then like Jalen Hood-Schifino as like your combo guard with Knecht is probably how I'd cycle it. And then, you kind of piece guys together here and there. If they did keep Prince, you could kind of, again, slot him in spots, keep the minutes down, play him at 2, play him at 3. Let's see. When I ask who the Lakers have drafted at 55, they can't give me any names. You should go look at some of the comments. It's hilarious. Like, go look at some of the comments that I responded to and watch the hurdles people jump through to ignore what I asked them. It's so funny, right? Like, people be like, Bronny's trash. I'll ask them 3 basic questions and they just completely ignore it and just go, oh, well, what did the hurdles that people have to jump through to try to make it seem like they're not just hating is hilarious, right? Because again, there is no, I know the answer to the questions. So I asked the questions. I know what the answers are. And so I know what, at best case, I know what, if you gave a response, I know what your response at best is going to be. Most people's responses aren't at best. 99.999% of the people that are hating on the Bronny draft are people that either hate LeBron or just hating, right? There might be, the reason I don't say 100% is because I'm sure there's some people that really liked the guy that really were like, man, we really should have drafted him. And they're probably upset and disappointed about it. But again, who's better? Anybody you draft at 55 is going to be a development guy. Most 55th picks are out of the league in a year or two, right? So worst case, Bronny just falls into that statistic. Let's see. Lauri is our best choice. You don't want Murray. I disagree. I want Murray. 100% want Murray, especially in the Western Conference. I'd rather have Lauri's size. Yes, but the problem is he doesn't play big, right? He's basically a small forward in a 7-footer's body, right? Can he play the 4 at times? Yeah, sure. But he's not a guy that you're looking to bang with the big boys. I like Lauri a lot, right? I think he would be an excellent fit alongside LeBron and AD at the 3, but he's not some worldly defensive guy. He's an excellent scorer, right? He gives you advantages in some real key areas. The type of actions you could run with Lauri Markkanen would just be unfair, especially with JJ Redick. Lauri Markkanen, especially with JJ Redick, would be an incredibly valuable piece. But there are also a lot of downsides to Lauri Markkanen, and he's about to get paid, and he's probably going to want a max. And whoever trades for him is probably going to have to give him a max. And I don't think he's a $40 million a year player. I think he's a $25 million a year player. DeJounte's already locked up at that number for a couple years, and you need a point guard, especially in the Western Conference, badly. So I personally would prefer DeJounte. Reeves is more likely than not getting traded. Keep D'Lo. I think that they'll trade D'Lo. If he ends up leaving, I think if he doesn't end up leaving, he'll end up being traded. Quincy, that was the two-way guy. I don't see him running the point guard, not yet. Or not the two-way guy, the Exhibit 10 guy. He might not even make the roster. Murray, Levine, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron, AD could win it all for sure. That's a massive move that would be needed. Trade Rui and take that Russ protected off and offer another 2 firsts. Who's going to buy a Bronny jersey? I'm sure he's going to sell a ton of jerseys. Pros tech. Lauri is our Porzingis. I don't know about that. I mean, it'd be a version of that, but Porzingis is an excellent shot blocker, does a lot of other things. Like Porzingis is a better Lauri Markkanen. But again, Lauri Markkanen would be great. Thank you, Rob. Yes, take a quick second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you haven't liked the video, if you haven't subscribed, do both. You think they trade Dalton? Probably not. I think that they'll do everything they can to keep him. I don't think he'll be the difference. Like if there's something that they really like, and it's like you have to give him up, I don't think that the Lakers will basically keep him off limits, right? Because if you don't have it, you don't have it type thing, right? Like he's never played for Lakers yet, so it's like but they could justify it as like, hey, we're going to trade the pick anyway. So, Snorlax, what's going on? Hey y'all, I can't wait for Summer League this year, man. It's gonna be so much fun. DK plus Bronny is gonna be fun to watch. I'm right there with you. You're gonna have what? You're probably gonna have probably Bronny, right? You have Knecht. You have Maxwell Lewis, Colin Castleton, and then they'll probably run run one of the other guys that they drafted, whether it's who is it? Was it Blake? Why am I blanking on his name? Blake Henson. There we go. And, or the France guy. Blanking on his name too. Anyway, yeah, one of those two guys. Lakers always cater towards the stars. Yes, agreed. Exactly. Kobe did the same thing. Exactly. 100%. It's what teams do. You do it for the next guy. Bronny James can score 45 points. Honestly, Lakers might be cooked. It's very possible. They very well might. Very well might. Who's the next superstar to come to LA? I mean, that's the real question. I think it depends on when LeBron leaves, right? I mean, it could be that. I mean, Trey ends up getting traded. He's a superstar, whether people want to admit that or not, he is. But like if LeBron leaves, I don't know. It's a really good question because there's several options depending on how things shape up, right? Like depending on if teams win or not, right? Anthony Edwards, anybody? Huh? If Minnie doesn't end up winning anything, I wish Hood-Schifino was playing in Summer League. I do too. Yeah, there you go. Blake Henson. That's what I like. Pure scorer, plays bully ball to get to the rim. Difficult. Has coaching 3-pointers. Yes. I actually like personally. I like the French guy better. Let's see. You can count the amount of picks that were taken after Bronny in one hand. That's what I'm saying. There literally were 3 picks after Bronny. Like he was basically the end of the draft. Like people are acting like the Lakers drafted him at 10. He's older than Tyler Hero. Did I mention that? You think the Lakers can go and get Isaiah Hartenstein from the Knicks? Don't think he's going to stay with the Knicks. No. He's getting a bag. And he's going to get probably 20 plus million. There were Knicks reports that he's interested in staying with the Knicks for cheaper. Supposedly the Knicks are looking to trade Deuce McBride because they need to clear some salary and they could potentially use some of that salary to kind of re-sign Hartenstein. So if he leaves the Knicks, I think he goes to OKC. I do. And I think OKC is perfect for him. Quincy Olivari, Blake Henson, and Armel Traore. Traore is the best undrafted by the Lakers. Can't wait to see them and play together, Dalton and Colin. Yes, Armel Traore is the one that I am actually really looking forward to. 6'9", 7'2" wingspan, good versatility. Definitely a project. Definitely needs some development and stuff, but he's the guy that I really like. I think has a ton of potential. Do a little bit of everything. We have to wait until after the 29th, which is the deadline for players to opt in and out. Yes, which is Saturday, right? So we're right around the corner. And that's the irony. They say he's Bronny. That's why he was picked, because his last name is James. But that's literally the reason they hate on him. Yeah, exactly. Right? Again, Bronny was a 5-star prospect and ranked in the top 20 of his draft class before the cardiac arrest. He was very light. If that never happened, he probably would have been a top 20 pick in this year's draft, and people probably wouldn't feel the same way. But because it's 55th pick and Bronny, and again, if the Lakers drafted anybody else, half of these people, if not more, wouldn't be crying about Bronny. LeBron take a pay cut. They could get Murray, Levine, and Dorian Finney-Smith. I have no idea how they would do that. Even if Bronny took a pay cut. Because, again, Bronny, if everything, if they ran it back and LeBron took a vet minimum deal, the Lakers would only have $8 million in cap space. All right? And you're talking Levine is $40 million. You're talking, 43, 25, talking almost 70, almost 80 million in salary. How do you even trade for that? Especially with the new CBA, because Murray's making 25 million, Levine's making 43, so there's 68. Dorian Finney-Smith's making hair under 11 million, I think, something like that. So let's call it 10 million to be safe. It's talking 58, 68, or sorry, talking 68, 78. Yeah, you're talking almost 80. We could trade our entire roster, and I don't think we get there, because Austin Reeves 12 million, D'Lo. So D'Lo and Reeves basically get you to 31, and then you have Rui at 17. That's 47. Jared Vanderbilt at 10. That's 47, and then 57. Jalen Rufino 60. Yeah, I don't even know how you get there. You could trade everybody and you'd still be able to do that. You got to remember, LeBron, still got cap holds and stuff, and you have to still get salaries. Unless Bron basically played for a vet minimum, and then you'd have cap space, you wouldn't be a first cap team. But even then, you still can't absorb 20 million in salary. It's just, I don't even know how you get there off the top of my head. Once we know who's in or out, then we can start making our moves. Yes, exactly. Agreed. People need to stop ragging on LA, taking Bronny at 55 like it's 55. No player at 55 is going to play any minutes anyway, so they need to chill. Also not looking forward to free agency because of Rob not going to do anything this year. He's dumb, doesn't want to make the team better. I don't agree with that. I fully believe Rob wants to make the team better. It's kind of his job. I just think he's not going to force the issue, right? No, and I'm okay with, right? If a deal's not there, don't make a deal. I'd rather you make no deal than make a deal that hurts us or puts us in a worse spot, right? Again, look at the Russ deal, for example, right? You can get worse, right? And you could end up painting yourself into a corner. So I don't know. Trade Jalen Rufino in the 2029 pick for Walker Kessler. I wouldn't give up 2029. I don't even think the Lakers give up 2029 pick for Walker Kessler. I like Walker Kessler. He looks like he may end up becoming something, but there's also a chance that he doesn't. If you're giving up, Lakers are limited in picks, right? If they were the Thunder, sure, right? Why not, right? But the Lakers, they have 2 real firsts to trade right now. And so I wouldn't do that. Yeah, it's 50 pick. This yeah, Cam Johnson and DeJounte Murray are like my like fingers crossed. I pray it happens type moves. Let's see. The Lakers should give Stanley Johnson another shot. He's been doing great in the G League. Solid defensive for us a couple seasons ago. Depending on how the roster shapes up, I don't necessarily hate that idea if you just need some size defensively. D'Lo and Jalen Hood-Schifino for Cam Johnson, Rui and Gabe for Murray, then sign Drummond. I'd be all for that. Let's see. I'm pretty sure salaries can't be aggregated in a trade after July 1st. Why on earth isn't there more urgency to get something done right now? You talking about with the Lakers? Lakers can aggregate salaries to make a trade. They can't take back more money. They have to exceed whatever that amount is. Would you trade Rui, Gabe, and Austin in picks for Lauri and Clarkson? Rui, Gabe, and Austin in picks for Lauri and Clarkson? No. Keep Clarkson off of the Lakers. Clarkson is one of the most inefficient players in the league. I mean, when he's on, he's great. Don't get me wrong. When he's on, you love Jordan Clarkson. But when he's not on, the guy is bad. I mean, he shot like 32% from three-point range the last like handful of years. Right? Like I don't want Clarkson at all. If you get like Lauri and Markkanen, or not Lauri and Markkanen, Lauri and Sexton, I wouldn't be against that. Yeah. Help them clear salary. Be like, hey, we'll take him too. Let's see. Reeves, Rui, Vando, and all the picks for it. If LeBron took a pay cut and D'Lo walked, what kind of player would you want to get with that money? A center or a wing or a guard? Problem is, like, who, like, there's not anyone available. Like, even if LeBron did that, right? Like, let's say LeBron took a vet minimum and we had like $30 million in salary, right? Because I think if D'Lo walks and LeBron takes like a vet minimum, now hypothetically speaking, it's not going to happen. But say hypothetically speaking, like, there's no one, like, who do you sign, right? Like, there's not anybody that you're like, oh man, that's the guy, right? Like, what, you're bringing in like Klay Thompson and James Harden, like, or one of those two, right? Like, that's why I don't think it really matters. I think everyone that you could sign, like, let's say we had the 30 million, right? Again, hypothetically speaking, say D'Lo walks and LeBron takes a vet minimum. I would probably throw 20 million a year at Miles Bridges. Throw 20 million a year at Miles Bridges. Throw, the other 10. I don't know. Could you maybe like work it out to get Bridges and like Hartenstein? Maybe something like that. Crazy part is we didn't even play a lot of our guys to showcase talent or see what they had. Chris. They got Cam Christie. Not bad. We need a strong white boy. Let's see. Sorry, trying to find something. Me. I'm interested in seeing how JJ shapes the offense in a better jump shooting type team. I think our offense is going to be much better. I'm actually really excited for offense. The question is the defense, right? Like even last year we were good offensively, but then defensively we just fell apart. So, but I think there'll be a lot of action, a lot of off-ball movement. This offseason is already very unserious to me. I mean, it's been quiet right? Like nothing major's really happened yet, but we're not even technically officially in the offseason yet. A lot of the free agency doesn't even start till what, June 30th. I'm not angry because Connect Energy might be good for us, but I wanted a trade. Hopefully we get one. If the Lakers want Cam Johnson, they better get him ASAP. They can't combine salaries and trade starting July 1st. New CBA kicks in. What? I don't know. I don't know where you got that from. That's not true. Yeah, thank you. We're in the first apron. We're not second apron team. Lakers can aggregate salary. I don't know. Oh, you thought the Lakers became no, Lakers didn't become a second. Okay. I thought maybe you just got wrong information. So yeah. No, Lakers are fine. Lakers can make trades. You think Bronny will start? No, I definitely don't think he'll start. Will he play? Possibly. Start? No. I'm just salty. Bron won't be able to compete in his final year, and I will be blamed for being surrounded by incompetence in his final years. I hope that they put together a quality roster. I mean, look at it this way. I mean, going into the playoffs this year, it was kind of like, hey, if we beat Denver, we're probably winning a championship, right? Like, I don't know if we would have beaten Boston, but I think we would have had a good chance, right? So if that's really the case, I don't necessarily see any team getting that much better. Like OKC getting Alex Caruso, I think was huge, but they're still tiny, right? Like they didn't fix their biggest problem, right? So again, I don't know. I mean, you add in JJ. JJ is going to make you better just with his offensive schemes and just being a better coach. You add like 2 or 3 quality guys, like, Valanciunas and, whatever. I don't know, whoever else, right? Like you get like 2 or 3 quality guys that fit needs. I don't think the Lakers are that far off, right? I don't think that you look at them and go, oh, they're a top 5 roster, right? Like, I don't think looking at the Lakers right now, like, even if they ran it back, I still think the Lakers have a puncher's chance. I don't think that I don't look at them and go, man, they're a bona fide contender, but I think that they'd have a legit shot. Connect is just Bogdanovich. Yeah, that's not a bad way to look at it. I think he has potential to be better because I think he's just more athletic. But yeah, it's not a bad thought. We need to get Murray, Levine, and Dorian Finney-Smith. LeBron takes a pay cut, and D'Lo opts in. Like I said, I don't even know how you get there. Just gave up $15 million away. He takes less. Yeah, I think Orlando is prepared to offer him something like 2 years, $50 million. I think is what I saw. So, which is good for the Lakers because that means D'Lo's probably staying. Let's see. If I was Bron, I'd say F it. Give me the minimum. Adam Silver and the Player Association would not let that happen if I'm being realistic. JJ gives me hope. He really gives it. I think that's what I'm saying. I really do think JJ's going to make the Lakers a lot better. Again, I'm not saying to the point where the Lakers are the best team in the league, but I think they could be tough. I cannot believe my eyes with the Giddey trade. Potentially top 3 fees ever, considering the amount of picks OKC has. Do you think the Lakers can get Keldon Johnson? Possibly. I don't think he makes sense with this Lakers team. Keldon Johnson, I think the Spurs probably trade him elsewhere. I don't think the Spurs would trade him to the Lakers, though, if I'm being honest. Like, the only way I see the Spurs trading him to the Lakers, trading anything to the Lakers, is if they get like a fleece. Like I thought Spurs could potentially be like a third team in like the Russell Westbrook deal, a couple years ago, because they would have gotten just free assets for doing it. Like they wouldn't have had to give up anything. They wouldn't have had to, they basically would have just gotten free firsts for the fun of it, right? They would have basically fleeced the Lakers. So, but outside of that, I don't think that they would be lining up to trade with Lakers. No deal, the no playoffs. I don't know. It depends on what the rest of the roster looks like. I don't know why people cry about the 55th pick. I read one comment saying he took some other player's place on the 55th pick, who would have been somebody who cares about 50th pick and above. Yeah, it's people being silly. It is people being silly. Murray is our last hope. Do you want Grant? I would like. He makes sense, yes. I just don't think Grant wants the Lakers. The Lakers tried to trade for Jeremy Grant back when he was with Detroit, and he basically said he doesn't want to play. He doesn't want to be a third guy. He doesn't want to play with LeBron and AD. That's why the Lakers stopped trading for him. Otherwise, he probably would have already been a Laker. Right? And he's continuously talked about how he wants to stay in Portland and he likes the position he's in. Not everyone wants to win a championship, right? He gets to basically be the guy, take 20 shots a game and make 30 million a year, right? Like, I just, like in theory, yes, he makes a lot of sense, right? He's basically Vando and Rui together. I mean, he's not as good defensively as Jared Vanderbilt, but he is like, he'd be the perfect 3-and-D wing, right? And a guy that can put the ball on the deck, go get a bucket. He'd be a solid third, fourth guy on the Lakers, right? But I don't know if Grant wants to do that. And I don't want to just trade for a guy that just like doesn't want to be here. Let's see. Imagine your backup guard being Lauri and Chris Paul. Maybe get DeAndre Jordan and DeRozan to come. I mean, I wouldn't mind. Lauri's expected to stay with Sixers. I wouldn't mind Chris Paul, depending on who our starters are. I'm not against Chris Paul at all because you're getting him for a vet minimum, and he is a guy that has the IQ and the brain and all that stuff. So, obviously, again, it'd have to be for a vet minimum. Let's see. Trying to find something real quick. What would you give for Jeremy Grant? Me personally, I wouldn't want to give up a lot. I mean, I think I know you're a Blazer fan, but Portland overpaid for Grant, right? Like, and I mean, he's making 30 million this year, 32 next, 34 million the year after. He's not worth that. Like, I mean, I don't even know why they re-signed him, period. They knew Damian Lillard was leaving. I don't know why they went and gave Jeremy Grant all that money. But like, I would take Jeremy Grant just because, again, his skill set, his size, versatility. But I mean, he's getting a bag for a guy that just like, he's probably your third, fourth guy, right? Like, and the Lakers are just so limited, right? Like, you have to give some value, right? So like, I'd give up like Rui, like Rui and Gabe Vincent with like a first, maybe like a second, 2 seconds, something like that. You get basically a young power forward, small forward in Rui. Yeah, you get a first and, a couple seconds, something like that. Probably what I'd give up for Grant. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, give us Grant for 2 seconds or something. Like, no, you got to he is still a good player, but I just think you got to take into account all the factors. Like, does he really want to be here? He's overpaid, and you gotta, it hinders things that you do. Let's see if the Lakers get Chris Paul. Should he start at point guard? If the Lakers don't have any other options, yes. Right? Like if your only choice is to start Chris Paul, then sure. I don't really want that to be the case. I would prefer him coming off the bench. But if he's starting as our point guard, there's probably a problem unless the Lakers got like I said, like a Lauri Markkanen and whatever, Jeremy Grant or something like that. Let's see. I am calling OKC saying, look, we give you 80 and reuse for legit 11 first. Problem is, like, none of those firsts would probably be worth anything. Let's see. They made 0 moves last deadline. It's pretty much a sign they're a joke. Let's see. Do you think players we signed today can play the rotation, or are they going to play in the G League first? The players that we signed today. So you talk about the Exhibit 10 and the two-way guys. I'm assuming. Talk about those guys. Yes, they're all going to develop in the G League. I don't think any of those guys. Maybe Blake Henson, just because of his shooting ability and his size, physical guy. So you could probably throw him out there, but maybe he takes up a spot, but more likely than not, they're all going to be development guys. The only guy I think that the Lakers got that can immediately play and make an impact is Knecht. How are the Lakers going to be better without D'Lo? Do you think JJ will make that big of an impact? No, I think the only way that they'll be better without D'Lo is if they get somebody that can replace D'Lo, right? Like if they get a DeMar DeRozan with the full mid-level exception, right? Let's say his market is non-existent, then I think the Lakers may potentially be better, right? But if D'Lo just walks and it's like we don't really get anybody impactful, then I don't think that's great. Then the Lakers are probably not going to be that much better, if at all. Grant would be a good fit with us, 100%. But like I said, would he want to come? 1 and 2, what does Portland want for him? I'm not against him at all. Like if the Lakers landed him, I'd be excited, right? It's just, again, what is the cost? And does he want to actually play for the Lakers? Clearly, we are not getting better than 2 big lineups. Limits Aaron Gordon out the dunker spot, and his offensive rebound. Timberwolves serious and still inconsistent role players. Would you all trade Knecht for Grant? Depending on what else is attached to it. Yeah, like if we didn't have to give up like sure. Because Grant's still young enough to be around for a while. I just did answer your question. If you guys want Grant, we want Knecht. I want Cooper Flag. Let's tank. Problem is, Lakers don't own their pick next year. Blazer fans, we don't want Grant. Let's see. Tyler, don't put that curse on him. What's going on, Blugga? Grant is like Kuzma. Apparently he just wants to just jack up shots and be a guy. I don't know why the Blazers want him. Like I said, if you can get him for the right price, I would be all for it, right? Like if you could get him for a reasonable price, then sure, right? Because he is, one of the better 3-and-D guys in the league. He's more than a 3-and-D guy, but I think he would be a better fit for the Lakers. He should play for who fits him better. Yeah, I definitely think he'd be a good fit. I just, again, would he want to come? I'd give it a lot for. Should give Memphis or the Lakers 10. See, can the Lakers' new system with JJ turn 80 into a Joker type player? Can they make him a point center who passes, takes threes? Jokic doesn't take a lot of threes. Probably won't make him a point center. What they'll probably, my guess is that they'll run different actions to get AD kind of on the move a little bit more, rather than him just constantly I think that they'll run actions to where AD will be able, because of his mobility, he won't have to work as hard, right? So they'll he'll be, say in the corner and kind of be the roll man, or put him in some pick actions and kind of spread out, have him as a roller. Like there's a million things in which they could put him in. Like could he make some plays out of the post? Sure, but I don't think that that's going to be the focus. I think he'll be basically more off ball. Him and LeBron will kind of be, whoever the playmakers are. There'll be a lot of movement, a lot of action, not a lot of guys standing still. You'll have lots of screen actions to get guys open. AD, I think, will take, a couple threes a game and then also kind of be the roll man on occasion. In spots, you can just jump the ball down to him and be good. I think LeBron wants to compete. If I'm being honest, like the report of him and AD wanting a star, I believe that 100%. I fully believe LeBron wants to compete too. Sorry, trying to find something to me. It'd be very bad for the Lakers to not make a trade, especially when in theory we thought they were going to make a trade when they didn't make one at the deadline. Yeah, the Lakers definitely need a move or two or several. This is a F pick at 55. He will never see the floor. I was looking at other prospects with bigger upside that would fit better. Like who? Who? And are you saying Bronny doesn't have upside? He's 19 years old, was a 5-star prospect, ranked 20th in his draft class before the cardiac arrest. Like, again, who's that prospect that is clearly better? At 55. I think JJ's system, and he kind of talked about he wants to shoot mass them with screens, so I see a lot of Vando screen and roll, help him get whoever needs to be open. Yeah, I think Vando will definitely be putting a lot of screen actions. I think he'll be the screener. If you can make one realistic addition this summer, who would it be? Yeah, DeJounte 100%. DeJounte would be my favorite target. Not counting DeJounte, probably Cam Johnson. Give us a young 3-and-D guy that can put the ball on the deck. One back-to-back, one in high school. Yeah. They can never answer the who exactly. That's the problem. They never can, ever. Like I said, you should go see some of the hurdles that people jump through to 4 points per game coming off the bench for a weak squad. Rob just trying to please Bron. I get it, but I won't win now. So why did you leave out that he had cardiac arrest, missed the first 8 games, was on minute restrictions, and wasn't even supposed to play, right? While there are guys literally that were drafted in the first round that had similar averages that played in worse leagues that didn't have cardiac arrest that were top picks. Again, you didn't name me a player. Art, again, if you don't like the Bronny pick, that's fine. But I asked you a question, who's that player? Who's the player with better upside? Who's the player that the Lakers should have taken over Bronny? Right? 4 points per game. Dude, the number one pick averaged, 11? The number one pick in this year's draft averaged, I think, 11 points and 4 rebounds. Right? He was the number one pick. Right? If we're going off of solely stats, then why wasn't Zach Edey the number one pick in the draft? Right? Again, it's just silly. Do you think Bronny will play with LeBron on opening night, even if it's for 2? Yeah, I do. I think Bronny early on. I think Bronny will get a couple minutes here and there. I don't think it'll be anything major, but I do. I have a weird epiphany. That the Lakers might balloon D'Lo's contract, give him $25-30 million, gated deal, then trade for Trey because he has no market. So 2 firsts. Thing is, they wouldn't be able to trade. I could definitely see the Lakers potentially doing something like that, but they wouldn't be able to trade D'Lo till December or January 15th, depending on when he signs that contract. So something to keep in mind. But Anyway, I'm going to skate on out of here. Got to the end of the chat. Been going for like an hour and a half. I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you for hanging out with me. Look forward to some videos. Got a lot to dive into and talk about. So definitely a lot of videos coming between this channel and then the Laker Show channel and all that stuff. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. You guys are beautiful. Also on the way out, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. People are beautiful. Peace.